Blinkit as an SD2 in front end role. Previously, I was working in the PayTm as a senior software engineer, same in the front end role only. So I have a total of 5 years of experience, and throughout 5 years of experience, majorly I worked in the front end parts. But apart from that, currently we are parallelly I am exploring the back end as well. So yeah, this is pretty much about me. We will go more into that as we will be continuing with this discussion. And anything, Mihil, you want to add? That's fine.
Man, that's great. Thanks for introducing yourself. Again, can you just reiterate about your role and responsibility and position while you were at Paytm for people who might not get the context?
So in the Paytm, I was working as a senior software engineer uh, in the front end part. So my roles and responsibility as a front end senior front end engineer includes uh, I was developing the application. I have to design the front end architecture for that application as well. Because in our team, we are the two senior persons, like senior software engineers, who were drafting the project. Like this way, we will be proceeding drafting the architecture for that. How we are going to build this application, which kind of tech stack we are going to use in the front end part. So all these roles and responsibility includes like we have to review the code for the other as well, and we have to self review each other codes as well. So these are all the roles and responsibility that includes.
Yes, makes sense. Again, as you can see, Gulshan has just given a very in-depth introduction about himself, but we want this to be two-folk. That is, we want all of you to also interact with Gulshan. That we will do either through the questions and through some of the polls that we have. So just as an example, I would like to launch one poll to understand whether both Gulshan and me are clearly audible and visible. Just like that, we have more polls running in. So please record your response by clicking on the selected option and click on submit, so that both Gulshan and I know that till now all of us were audible and visible. Yes. Perfect. Okay, so a lot of us are saying that yes, we were audible, we were visible, and it was going smooth. Um, that being said, Gulshan, there's been a lot of commotion going on, with respect to what is a service-based company, what is a product-based company. I'm sure before Paytm, you too might have explored and had the opportunity of working in a service-based company. If you can just help the crowd understand from your experience as well about the different problems and the approach that you had to take.
Sure, definitely. So previously, before Paytm, I worked in the Soprasteria, which is a both service and the product-based company. So I was the part of the managed services part, like which handle the services. So we were there was a particular service related to the warehouse. I was a part of that project in that part in that company, Soprasteria. So there, initially. My role was not that much of a developer. I used to solve the tickets. I used to work as a support engineer in that role. So there was not much of a development in that particular role. Apart from that, I moved from that support to the development role, but still in that context as well, there were many services which just need enhancements. We are not developing the feature is not there. It's more like we are enhancing the feature, and everything is already predefined, what you are going to use, and even the versioning of the framework or the library that you are going to use in the front end as well, that is also upgradation and all these things. Those are the limitations that I faced particularly in the Superstereo for that. So these things are there in the Soprasteria. So it's the overall you can say that the learning curve in the Soprasteria, that is not that much of a vast. I was doing the development, I was doing my routine work and everything, but it's just like how much I'm growing. That is not that just fast pace in the service based company for me.
And what would you say for, let's say, a company like Paytm with respect to your learning curve and about, let's say, developing systems and everything around that?
Yeah. So definitely, like when I joined the Paytm, the first thing was I was introduced to the project, like where we were building the wallet system for another country. So that's how like they are pitching the idea, like this is how we are going to build the wallet system, this is the feature that we are going to introduce, like money loading and every other thing. So all those things were there, and the interesting thing, I was parallelly learning the business, like how a wallet is working. So the business part was also there in the service based company as well, but here the business that you are understanding, that you are building, you are able to see that in the live, the people are using that. So you will get like feedback, real feedback for that as well. And apart from that, for the front end part, for my role specific part, uh, I was told to set up the project from the scratch. Like, so we did a lot of brainstorming, like whether we are going to go for the CRA template, or for with the webpack, or with the uh, a lot of things are there when you are building the front end, like which kind of architecture you are going to use, what are the atomic component, what are the all those things you are going to set up, what, if you are going to use your own, like you are designing your own design kit, or whether you are going with the other design kit systems are there, like R&D, Bootstrap, all these things are there, Material UI. So that's how we are taking the call, and what kind of CSS compiler you are going to use, like SCSS, SAS, and many other. Like if you are going to use the Tailwind, so everything we are doing the brainstorming, and we are taking a call. We are just iterating. Like if we have introduced anyhow, like SCS or anything, like we just discard that, we will just move out to the any other part. If we just see like it is not performing that much, if we have to increase the performance, we will go for the Tailwind, and many other things are there. So all those things, like a lot of brainstorming before starting a project, because it will save you the time when you are actually doing the development. So all those things, because that was my first project that I was building from the scratch, so I just learned a lot from that as well.
Yes, again, you mentioned the point of that, you've learned everything about, all these systems from scratch, and the fact that you got such growth in a, product based company. A lot of questions are already on the lines of tech stack and everything around it. Ladies and gentlemen, do not worry. We will cover as much as possible, but let's also hear what the guest has to share from his perspective. And obviously, your questions would also come in the fray. Gulshan, moving on ahead, there is also again, a lot of discussion going and some myths that are also there in the industry, which I would like to debunk with your help. People say that it is very difficult to get into a product based company, but and there are a lot of things that we might miss out. What is your understanding? What should one study to get into a top product based company?
Okay, so it is like, if you can see, like if I have not given any interview for the product based company, if I have not explored what is being asked in a product based company, so that myth will stay. It was with me as well, like I will how I'm going to crack the product based company offer. It happened with me as well. I just got scared, like initially when I got a call from any of the like Just Money. I got the call from the Just Money as well. But when I gave the interview, I was able to clear the first round. I don't have that much of like comfortable, like I be able to clear the first round. That will be the DSA or anything. But it just happened for me. I was able to clear that round.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that's the thing. Like cracking the product-based company interview is not a thing, but all that is, you have to be confident about, like what kind of round it is. It's a problem-solving round. You should going with the focus of like you are going to solve the problems. If it is a dev round, you should like all the rounds are not happening parallelly, one by one, right? They will already intimidate you, like this is the round that they are going to take, so you can prepare for that. You can see the questions, like what kind of question, because I think there are a lot of blogs that where is it where you can find the questions, what kind questions is being asked in the Paytm or in any other company, Just Money, now any other company. I just go for that as well. I just find the question, I just practice them as well, right? It's just not like every question when they will ask, the answer will come directly to you. You have to prepare for that. It For cracking an interview, it just take a lot of interview that you are going to fail a lot of interview, then you will be able to crack a interview perfectly. So that's how I see cracking the interview, because that's how I was able to crack the Paytm interview.
Makes sense. Makes sense. While you were talking about certain aspects, Gulshan, Rachuri, Vijay, and a lot of other people also have the confusion about tech stack. Can you give an idea about service-based tech stack versus let's say product-based tech stack?
Uh, in the service-based tech stack, so am I audible?
You loud
Okay.
and clear.
Okay. So in the service-based tech stack, as I said earlier, so when I was doing the development, so I just have the particular limitation, like we are going to use the Mun stack, we are going to use the particular this kind of database, this kind of front end development, this kind of UI. So in some of the service based company, when you are developing for the client, they already have the design system with them. So you are going to use that particular design system, even if that has the limitation. That is your responsibility that you have to overcome. You just can't go outside of that. So going for like my company is Soprastia, first company. So in that I was doing the developing one of the dashboard. For that I have to use the client design system. Even that has a lot of limitations. I have to connect over the VPN. I have to download the package. Even that is taking a lot of time. A person can write a very beautiful code in the meantime. The meantime they are just setting up the project, whole of the project as well. And the next time when you again have to do that, you have to go for that as well. So these are some of the pain points that you will be able to find. You cannot go outside of that. So as I told in the Paytm as well, in the Paytm, we are just giving the open hand, like what kind of tech stack we are going to use, whether we want to use React, whether we want to use Angular, whether we want a single page application with the Next.js, server side rendering, any other. It's our call, like what we are going to take. Even like. In the current as well. So like we already have one kind of particular dashboard that is in the React. So if that is like not performing well, we will just upgrade that. We will move it to the next JS. Like this is the code that is being dependent on the developer side. Like they will take the code, they will do the brainstorming, and they will take the code, then they will go. But in the service company, you have to make the delivery. Like there will be window for the delivery that you have to make those deliverables to the uh, client, and then you are going to deliver. So you just can't go outside because you have the time restriction. You will not be able to go outside of that. So these are some of the constraints, or you can say restriction, that you will face.
Yes. Gulshan, a lot of people here tonight are also freshers.
Okay.
This is from the questions that we can perceive. Let's just also take a show of hands so that we are all, on the same page. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a fresher, please give us a yes, thumbs up. If you're a working professional, give us a no. Nothing good or bad. Everyone is fine. The only thing is we want to know how many are freshers here tonight. Freshers give yes, working professional give no. Working professional, it's fine. In any industry, it's fine. You can come from sales, banking, etc. Working professional. Don't write, just use the thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, so Gulshan, we have a lot of people who are freshers, and but we have around 10% who have shown their hands that are also from having industry experience. But the people who are working just want to understand, if you are from a tech industry, give us a yes. Working professionals, if you are from tech, give us a yes. Non-tech, give us a no. Again, nothing right or wrong. Rohit, we are coming to that. Don't worry. Gulshan, you must have seen by the show of hands where this discussion will go to. A lot of people
Yeah.
are oriented towards tech and are also asking about DSA and things like that. Why don't we just walk on through? Because again, some concerns that come in is, hey, I want to get into let's say Paytm. So do I need to have good problem solving skills, or should I start learning languages? What would your advice be over here?
Okay. So just a minute.
Yeah.
Sorry, just give me a minute. Actually, I just quote something.
Interns are also on the path of becoming working professional, aren't we, Ram? Rohit, Satya will take that, and yes, we'll take your question as well. I can see 21 questions also. We will cover some questions about certificates towards the end. Let's just focus on the roadmap since we're covering that with Gulshan, and
Hello.
once we have the right direction, we'll move forward. Yes, Gulshan.
Yes, mate. Can you please repeat? Actually, I just got one
No
notification.
problems. So again, coming from questions that were there in the chat around the lines of problem solving skills, versus learning languages? What should one priority be if they want to get into PayTm?
I think learning languages that depends on what kind of role you are looking for. If you are going for a backend itself like have a lot of languages to learn, like Java backend developer, Go, Python, many other are there. Even in the front end, you there is one specific language JavaScript, but there are a lot of frameworks, right? That is like React, Angular, then Next.js, a lot of their Vue.js is there. But the thing is, if you have learned a lot of languages, what kind of problem you are going to solve, right? You should have like if I will be able, if I know 10 different kind of languages, I should be comfortable solving the problems with those 10 languages, right? Even like there is one particular problem, if I can write the solution for that then it's fine. If you know 10 languages, 20 languages, that doesn't matter to me. But if you're able to solve the problem for me, that is fine for me. But if you know 10 languages and you are not able to solve any problem with those 10 languages, that then those 10 languages are no use for me, because we are not able to solve the complex problem, real life problems that is happening in the tech world, right? So one should focus on more on the problem solving skills. Like they should be good at one particular language, but how to use that particular language in the problem solving, then they should be good at that. So that's how it is. First you should be good at one particular language, know in and outs of that language, then you should try solving the problems with that language. That should be the approach for that.
Gulshan, since you mentioned about having that hunger to try solving such problems, again one question could be, what should one mindset be? Should I go towards learning stack, or should I start going understanding, going solving 500 questions, 600 questions before my interview? If I want to get into a top product based company, what would your answer be?
Product based company, like they will not ask you like sometimes questions are not like whatever you see on the lead code. Questions are not like that. Many times like it is there like they will ask recurrence of a string problems or all other kinds of problem. Questions are not like, sometimes they sometimes what I interview will ask like if I am doing any problem, like I am doing coding or I am working on a project, if I see a real life problem that is happening with me that I have solved in the real life, I will ask that problem in the interview, right? So for that, it is not like you will just go on the lead code and you have solved the problem. Then you will like similar kind of problem will be asked in the interview and you will solve that, right? It's just not like something ratifications we can say. It's just that I can give you a real type problem that we have faced in our project, right? Then you are going to solve. For that, it's just like the problem solving. It's just like the right approach or the right state of mind. Like this is the kind of data structure that I'm going to use for this problem. This is the kind of data structure, you can say this is the kind of algorithm that I'm going to use for solving this problem. So that comes with problem solving. It's just not like I can solve n number of problems. For me, I have not done any lead code or hacker rank or hacker earth or anything. I done only on the scalar. In the scalar, I used to get the assignments or the homework. I have solved those problems only. I have not go out of the way like solving this problem. But whenever I got stuck on any of the problem, let's say I'm not able to solve this problem, I will see the solution. There's nothing wrong in that because I'm not getting anything or anything. Because sometimes seeing the solution, I was able to get the approach. Oh, this is the approach that I have to use. Now I see the solution. I was able to solve the problem. But what after 10 days? Will I be able to solve that problem again? Will I be able to recall that solution? Then I will go back again to the solution after 10 days. Then I will see if I am recalling that solution. That's how one should be practicing that.
Makes sense. You also inadvertently answered some of the questions on the chat, the question window as well, Gulshan. Isha Kumari was asking, where did you learn DSA? So just reiterating, as Gulshan himself mentioned, he learned all of this in Scalar, which he'll walk us through, I believe, in some time. But let's say if you are curious to know more about that, what we can do is I can also share a link in the chat window so that you have some clarity. Kushag Upadhyay, although your question is very imperative, I would request you to please post it on the questions tab so that we keep the chat window light with respect to normal conversations and your question does not, get missed in the, greater scheme of things. Gulshan, coming back to you, we have talked a lot about mindset. We have talked a lot about preparation, a lot of net practice and discussion around that. Now let's start playing the proper cricket match. Walk us through your first round of interview and how did it go?
So my first and second both happened on the same day because it was a placement drive for them. Like on the weekend they do. Paytm most of the time they do like placement drive. They schedule the interview for uh, like majorly it is 3 round of interview, and first 2 round they will take on the same day, then they go for the third round on any other day. So that's how most of the time it is with the Paytm. And one good thing about the interview round on the placement drive is that they will be short, they will not be like more than 1 hour. Like they just want to be wind up quickly because they have a lot of interview lined up on that day. So for my first round, it was about 55 minutes to 1 hour for that day. And what happened in that is they asked me about my tech stack. So my tech stack majorly is React, JavaScript. So I am a front end developer, but in the React. I am a React developer. So the first round revolved around the React. So initially they asked me about my experience in the React. Then they asked me how React works, like the concept of the React Virtual DOM, it hooks, how the hooks are working, benefits of the hook, what hooks we can use for the uh, you can say for the performance and for the optimization. Then they asked me to build a simple application like stopwatch or a counter. Initially it was counter, then they asked me to build a stopwatch from that counter. So these are the questions they asked me about the around the React. So for like anybody who is going for the React interview, I would say like learn React thoroughly. Uh, it's a virtual DOM. Like they ask me about the keys. What is the use of the keys? Like when we are most of the like if anybody is from the front end in the crowd, like they will be able to understand like the concept of the keys in the React, why we are using that. So most of the questions are basic that is lying around the internet that you can learn, right? But it's just like how you are going to answer that you have to draft out, right? Then they ask you about the questions around the HTML. Most of the time people prepare for the JavaScript and anything, but sometimes they just go for the basics of the HTML. No, HTML is very vast. Like they will ask you about the HTML versus HTML5, like what are the new introduction in the HTML5, what are the different kind of APIs are in there. Then there is JavaScript,
Hmm.
like questions related to the polyfills, like the polyfills that you are going to build. Then polyfills for about promise all settle, right? All everything is there. Then the array prototype, like array methods that you have to build from your own, like flattening an array, flattening an object. So all these are all not in the Paytm. These are the questions that are generally ask from me in other round as well. I will go for the Just Money. I will go for like there is a company called Ticketmaster in that as well. These questions are asked. So polyfills is the must. Like if you're going for a first round interview, learn polyfills as well. So yeah, these are the questions that are asked from me in the first round. So uh, like when my first round completed, they intimidated me. I'll just like after 15 minutes only. Like my next round is after lunch. So yeah, they asked me to like it will be a DSA round. So they asked me to prepare for the DSA,
Hmm.
and they told me like my first round is clear.
Makes sense. Since you've initiated about DSA in round two, why don't you walk us through what are the sub rounds in round two? What was asked of you in DSA? And it would be of great help to the audience as well.
So in the DSA, so the DSA part was like I will not say like it was very complex because I was fully prepared for the DSA. Uh, because at that time I have done the DSA in the scalar till linked list. Have done the DSA in the scalar, and I was very comfortable in DSA at that time. So the questions asked was about the in DSA was the like there were two string problems and one array problem.
Hmm.
So for the string problem, first one was the count and say string, like where you have to in a string if for all the Like if there are continuous occurrence of a character, you have to write that character and the occurrence. That will be your output string. So that was very easy, and I was able to solve that problem within like 5 minutes. Then they asked me about the another string problem. Like it will be like revert the string, but the special character in the string will should be in place. If there is a number or a special character in that string, that should be in place. Only that you have to uh, revert the alphabet only. You have to change the alphabet positions only. So that also I was able to solve in another 5 or 7 minutes. So it's just like both the questions were done within 15 minutes. So then they asked me a array question. I think the array question was related to the sorting of the array. Then I have to build some output with that. I don't actually remember the whole question. Even like most of the times after the interview I write the question, but I don't have the this question with me right now. But it was related to the array, related to the sorting and other, and it was a medium level question that took me around another like 15 to 20 minutes to solve. And that's how we concluded my second round, and I was able to solve all three questions. And it was just finished in only 30 to 35 minutes.
So you mentioned around three questions of DSA, Gulshan, and you also mentioned certain approaches that one needs to take while solving.
Yes.
Abhi is asking about a detailed roadmap of DSA. Again, today's time might be a constraint for that, but Gulshan, can you just again walk through what should be clear approach for a person? Let's say if you mentioned about the question over here very clearly that count and string problem of counting, or let's say reverting a string, things like that. So what should be the mental approach while solving such questions?
Mental approach is like if I am able to see count and say strings, so what I will be doing is like count and say. So I have to count all the occurrence for that. Sometimes people will confuse that occurrence. So first of all, clear like what kind of output is expected. If you they have given you the question, just ask them like please give me the output for that as well, so that I will be able to see what kind of solution I'm going to build. So ask for both question as well as its output as well. So you will be able to do and ask as many as example for that as well. Then you go for the solution. So if I see a string problem, right, and they ask me about the occurrence, so anyhow I have to iterate that string. So going with that as well, you will be able to do right. First of all, you can see like if I'm iterating a string and then I can keep the one character in the position and then see the next character, I can go in the n scale loop. But you can just I at that time I thought of that solution, but I see like anyhow you cannot solve any of the string problem in the n scale. If you are going to solve any of the string problem and if the person is saying it's a easy problem, then definitely it's not a n scale
Yeah.
complexity. So definitely I thought of that as well. And then initially I took a variable like I'm keeping the count, like I will be counting the occurrence, and when that occurrence will be changing, I will just increase reset the count as well, and just put that output in my output string. So that's how I thought of the problem as well. And sometimes it's like you are not, I was not giving that much of a thought like that. How I have tell you, I just not have thought that in depth as well, because I have prepared a lot for that as well, because I practice these questions
Correct.
daily. I have practiced different kind of string problem like iteration of the string, different occurrence of the string, everything. So these just come naturally when you are seeing the problem. Your fingers will work naturally like this is the solution I'm building. And because these are the easy problem, you are just not discussing for the easy problem with the, because you are just simply write the solution. But as I say, for the array problem, that is like sorting I know, but with the sorting, how I tweak the sorting to build my solution, in that case you will be discussing with the interviewer, right? So I have write the sorting. Now what kind of solution you want, like if I am changing here, this is the solution that we are building. If I'm changing here, this is the solution I'm building.
Correct.
So
Correct.
in that way you have to communicate with your interviewer, so that if you are not communicating for like, I would say for the easy problem you can leave for that, if you are clear about your problem. But for the medium level, I would say if even if you are clear, just discuss with your interviewer continuously, because if you make a small mistake anywhere in between the code, I then debugging that code and rewriting that code will take a lot of time. It's better if you have confused anywhere between, just write the code from the scratch. if you are not able to debug in the next 2 or 3 minutes. I would say follow this approach to write the solution from the scratch and involve your interviewer in writing the code.
Yes, since you mentioned, Rohit was asking, what all DSS required: array, string, backtracking, hashing. You've covered a lot of, solutions around that, and the fact that you should, again, ladies and gentlemen, try to interact with your interviewer. Don't pretend if you already know the answer. But let's say if you have mugged up 500, 600 questions, and then you suddenly start typing and solving it, even the interviewer will know that, okay, boss, he has come prepared, learning something. But it's good to communicate to ensure that they feel they're in the loop in the wider scheme of things. That is a great point that you've added, Gulshan. But as ladies and gents, you have heard about how much DSA is important for Gulshan as well, and how he was able to crack the second round, and how much emphasis it played in ensuring that his candidature was well ahead of the crowd that was there interacting. I'm sure a lot of you might want to know about DSA, and a lot of you are also DMing me as well. What I can do is, to ensure that we are saving time, I'm launching a quick poll. You can connect with the counselors here at Scalar, and they will guide you on how much DSA is important and how Scalar covers that. Gulshan and many others in his batch as well were part of such events. They had also interacted with counselors before giving their entrance exam here at Scalar, and this is the reason why he has become so successful and is sharing his success story here with you, in an effort that you can also join him in his roles, not just at PayTm but Blinkit, etc., etc. So again, only if you're serious to know how you can crack this interview, please opt in. Yes, our team will help answer the questions just like we are. So you will be the one answering the questions from the team in a one-to-one setting, free of cost. Yes, I see 55 responses. So ladies and gentlemen, those who have said yes out of 55, you will be getting some calls in the next 2-3 days. So please be ready with your questions, and only who have said yes to the poll that was there earlier. Thumbs up won't work, clicking on that poll would have. So that is how you can interact. Again, you've covered 2 rounds of interview till now, Gulshan. Let's move on to the third round. I believe it might be either a senior round or a managerial round in that case. And if you can just walk us through how that was.
So my third round was the managerial round only. It happened for like 30 minutes only, 25 to 30 minutes only, and it was majorly around my project, like what kind of project I have done, what kind of contribution I have made, and what kind of work I'm going to do in the Paytm as well. So it was not just like you are going to reject in that round, but it can happen if you will not show any kind of interest, if your answers are not honest, right? It will backfire to you. But if you have reached the third round, it is just most probably the case that you are hired. So for the third round, they asked me about my project, like what I have written in the resume. Sometimes people write whatever in the resume, like I made this kind of contribution and this contribution in this project, I've done this contribution. But they will ask you, if you have made this contribution, how the product is impacted with this contribution, like with your contribution, how like what kind of performance optimization, what kind of time reduction or anything you have done with that contribution. They will ask you around that question, ask you around that, and they will ask you in depth about your any of your project as well in depth, because they want to see whatever you have written in your resume, that is true or not, right?
Correct.
So that's how my third round. Then once they are satisfied with that, then they told me like, this is the kind of product that we are going to build in the Paytm, and this is what we are doing in the team as well, right? That's how big the team is. Your role will be like, you will be doing the development, also managing this set of persons as well. You have to, like, there are some interns that you have to teach them as well, that you have to make them grow as well. So all these are discussed in the final round.
Makes sense. Again, you've mentioned about the third round, which are very very project specific questions, and maybe situational handling to the best. But just again, rewinding a bit, this is all looking so beautiful in perspective that, okay, you got into KTM, you're doing well for yourself, but there's obviously a starting point as well. Gulshan, what was your motivation of joining Scalar, and what would you like to mention to the crowd as well?
For me, joining the Scalar was like when I was in Soprasteria. So I stayed in Soprasteria for like 3.5 years. So you can say I stayed that long because I didn't get that much of opportunity, or even I have a bond of like 3 years for that as well.
Oh.
So these are the some of the key aspects there. That's why I stayed that long. And I will not say Soprasteria that bad, but I didn't see like enjoying the work or the growth as well. You can say both monetary or as well as educational growth as well, because
Hmm.
there is nothing bad in the monetary growth as well. People will see because it's you will be needing that as well.
Hmm.
So both I was seeking at that time, and I was also doing the interview as well at that time, because for the JS in the internship as well, I have done the Node.js as well. So I have a knowledge of the backend as well as the database as well. And parallelly, I was doing the front end. So I was first thought I will go for a backend role. So
Hmm.
in the backend, when you will be giving the interview, the first round, anyhow, it will be around the DSA and the problem solving. So at that time, I was not doing that much of a problem solving.
Makes
Just a
sense.
minute. I
Makes.
was not doing that much of a problem solving. So when the first question they gave me, it was like the integer that I have to revert.
Hmm.
And I
Okay. His electricity has gone off. He just replied very quickly. His electricity has gone off. Ladies and gents, don't worry. He'll rejoin, and then we'll continue from where he had stopped. Suraj, Rohit, and I think someone Karnan, please, apologies if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Don't worry, we'll try taking as many questions as possible. Also, let's utilize the time and please post your questions on the questions tab so that this chat window will keep on erasing after a point of time. Don't want your questions to be missed. So please, if you can just copy paste over there, it would be of great help. Uh, that is the best that you can do. But yes, in the meantime, let us start taking some questions. Okay, you will get a certificate, Zeba, but we will discuss, how you can download it when the session ends. That is nothing major. Only you have to, you know, click on the link from where you are registered and you can download it. Let's say a few hours after the session has ended. Perfect. How to get a job in PayTm being a fresher. Mananjay, you'll have to focus on certain aspects like DSA, system design, behavioral questions, things like that. But it also depends if you want to get into a back end or a front end role. Currently, we are diving deep into how you can get into PayTm as a front end developer. So those are certain things that you might want to look at as well. Um, and if you had missed out, you can connect with the team, and if you're opted in yes to the poll, they can guide you better as how you can actually get into PTM as a fresher, which is not that hard of a task if you have the right skills. Prasanjeet, Pramanik, you are from Tier 3 college CSA student. Prasanjeet, again, not plug-in, but I personally know of someone who is a Scalar alumni who was part of, I think, Tier 3 college. It was SRM University, and now they are sitting in Google, but as a backend developer. So he was also part of Scalar, and he's a good friend of mine. So do not limit yourself into thinking, okay, I come from a tier 3, tier 4, etc., etc. It's end all and be all for me. That is not the case. If you have the right skills, you can overtake the entire crowd which is there. You think might be a threat to you. So it's perfectly all right. Just keep on upskilling, working on your concepts. It's perfectly all right. Let's take a look at more questions. Okay, tech stacks. Karthik Kumar M. We have discussed some amount of tech stacks. Again, it depends upon whether you want to get into back end, front end, then you want to think on. But what Gulshan is walking us through is, let's say, if you want to get into a front end dev role here at PayTm, where did you learn DSA? Isha, we have covered. This we'll cover in some time. DSA roadmap, Mekha, he's already walked through. Hashing is one concept that he was part of. You can have a look at that. Apart from that, the questions that Gulshan was walking us through, when he was discussing his round, string problems, arrays, those are certain things that you might want to work on researching. And free resources are good. You have mentioned certain free resources; those are great resources, but it also depends on how much time you can allocate to that. So regularity is also the key. I see Gulshan has joined back. Gulshan, I hope your laptop is
No, actually, I joined with my phone. Sorry, actually, my laptop got restarted. It was some schedule update with that.
okay. Makes sense. If you can just tilt your mobile phone because some reverb is coming from your speaker. I think it's an iPhone, so the speaker is it's bouncing from the desk. Might want to keep it on hand.
Okay.
Yeah. Go.
Uh, okay, sure. Actually, just give me a minute. I joined using my earphone only. I think that's fine.
Maybe you should
Yeah, sure.
remove the earphones because we are getting some robotic voice as well.
Robotic voice. Is it fine now?
No, it's not good. I might want to disconnect.
Okay, sure.
Perfect. So by the time he is setting up his yeah Transformers voice, Rohit sounded like Optimus Prime, ain't it? So that amount of robotic voice, yeah. So Gulshan, you've got feedback. Might want to remove your AirPods and have a look at.
Is it fine?
Can you say something?
Yeah, is it fine now?
It's better. You're not sounding like Autobot now. Perfect.
Okay.
So moving on ahead from the transformer voices as well, Gulshan, before your laptop restarted, you were mentioning about uh, aspects of learning certain attributes to get into the industry. you know Not diving deep into the fragments, but if you can just give us an idea of how much you would rate yourself on the three attributes: system design, DSA, and problem solving before you were part of Scalar versus after you had joined Scalar.
Okay. So, yeah, before joining Scalar, like I say, I did very bad in the DSA rounds as well. Even I have the dev knowledge as well, but for the problem solving, did very bad. It was just like I would say 2 or 3 out of 10, even not that, I would say. But after that, after doing the DSA or the problem solving from the scalar, I
Hmm.
did very good in the interview. Even I took a pause till the link list, and after that I started giving the interview because I want to switch at that time. And because of that, when I gave the actual interview, I did very well. So I would rate myself as 9 out of 10 in the DSA because currently as well, whenever we are doing the brainstorming or anything in the company as well, I just able to say like this is the data structure we are going to use, and I am able to justify my answer as well for that. So yeah.
So you've written DSA 9 out of 10. Problem solving in system design also will take 9.
Problem solving, yes, you can take 9 as well because yeah, that's the
9
same.
from Gulshan, 9 from you before you were, let's say, X versus 9. So what would your before be for problem solving?
Before problem solving, I would also say like 2 and now 9 because problem solving and DSA, like even I have the knowledge, but the problem solving will let me know how I am going to able to use the DSA. So yeah,
Yeah,
problem solving is like 2 and now it's 9.
perfect. So
Then
that is an increment of, let's say, plus 7 on the scale that you're having.
def-
So
definitely.
kudos, man. But yes, while you were rejoining, you were attempting to ensure that the crowd's questions are also aligned. But I guess there was, um if I'm not wrong, yes, we had Aryan who had missed out on the poll, and I also got certain DMs. So, ladies and gents, if you had missed out on interacting with the poll, now is a good time to say yes. You can connect with the counselors, or you can connect with the team, telling them that you want to connect with Gulshan. That is also perfectly fine as long as you're opting in yes. Only if you're serious and only if you had missed out, please feel free to opt in yes. Um, this is for people who might have missed out or have a change of heart, want to connect with the team, want to know from, let's say if you're a fresher, if you're from a non-tech role, how do you get into PayTm? That is also fine. If you have no knowledge of tech stack, want to start learning coding, that is also fine. If you come from tech but from a different domain, like ECE, or you come from, let's say, civil engineering, or you come from automobile engineering and you want to get into coding and want to understand how to start, then that is also fine. Only thing is, we'll have to opt in yes. I can see 58 questions. It will not be possible for us, both Gulshan and me, to take all 58, solely due to the restrictions of time. Hence, you can opt in yes to this poll as well. And if your question is not addressed, you can get it answered by the team, who are immensely capable, just like Gulshan here is, who has joined us tonight. So this is your chance, ladies and gents. Just launching it because people had messaged that they had missed out earlier. So please click on yes and click on submit. I see 136 people here with me, but less amount of responses. Very clearly, you will not get chance to opt in yes later. Aryan, you can say yes to this poll and you can tell the team. That is all right. Gulshan, while the poll is also running, we'll give everyone a minute. Ladies and gents, please also go to the questions tab and please click on questions that you would want us to answer on parity. Please upvote each other's questions. Time to contribute and cooperate as well. So currently I can see Karthik Kumar's question is on top. If you don't want that, if you want someone else's question, upvote. So it's just like, ensuring that the visibility is there. Yes, Gulshan, while you were rejoining, we had people who were
Mhm.
saying that we can study from certain online free resources as well. But the problem there is that you will have to do a lot of scavenging and searching for things. Instead of learning, a lot of time is gone on finding things and ensuring then you are learning. So what would yours advice be? Free resources versus structured resources. How would your planning be to upskill?
So first of all, I want to ask, like, yeah, free resources are there definitely. There are, like, if I'm going to serve like uh, array problems, array data structure, I am able to see free resources. There will be like 10 videos, but which video you will see? Because I will see the first video, but I would have constantly in my mind, like, in the another 9 video, what was there, whether I have missed something or not. Then you are end up seeing all the 10 videos, right? Now you have like 10 different approaches or 10 different kind of like 10 different kind of things going in your mind, like, because there are 10 different instructions for that. Now you have confused yourself definitely. And do first of all, do you have that much of a time? Because me as a working professional, I don't have that much of time that I will be able to see 10 like I will scan like those particular videos, and I will learn from that. I don't have that much of time. I want a particular one thing at my desk, like because now I will be getting free at 8 o'clock from my office, right? In the morning, I will not be able to learn. After 8 o'clock, I have only like 2 or 3 hours, because I have to take care of my physical health as well, because I have to hit the gym as well. And then definitely there will be a limited window of like 2 or 3 hours if I will be sleeping at like 1 or 2. In that window, I have to learn that particular thing and I have to solve those problems as well. So I just can't go like searching and doing all these things, right? So for that, where comes like structure resources.
Hmm.
So that's how, like because structure resource is not like I can directly go and learn array, I can directly go and learn linked list. There will be like stepwise process for that. First I should be good at solving mathematical problem, then I will go for the string, then I will solve the 1D array, then I will go for the 2D array, then I will go for the multi-dimensional array, right? So that's how things works. You can't go directly solve like multi-dimensional array problem, right?
Makes sense.
So definitely. So that's how structure resource help.
And Gulshan, what would your answer be for duration? A lot of questions are also on the lines of, can we complete all of this in 6 months versus, let's say, if I give it 2 years, 2.5 years to learn, then how would it look like?
Definitely, like minimum time spent to complete the whole DSA perfectly. Minimum of that should be like 4 to 5 months. Minimum of that, and even that is the time when you're putting like constantly 3 or 4 hours daily of your life, like more than at least of 4 hours daily of your life. Then you will be going to and completing the DSA in like 4 or 5 months, right? But I would say like for me, I don't have that much of a consistency, right? So even that at the time you have to be confident, you have to be disciplined, you have to be focused when you are going to do that. And that I will not say like daily I can go and search for the videos and I will be able to do that, right? So these are the things.
Makes sense. Gulshan, a lot of people were also asking about while you were rejoining about what benefits that one can get from Scalar. Can you mention certain benefits that you had also experienced during your time?
So yeah, first of all, like when I am joining the scaler, so at that time I have the opportunity to select a mentor. Mentor is a person, I would not say like mentor is he's just mentoring you. You can discuss with him like anything about like this is the particular thing that you're facing in your current organization and you want to get out of that. This is the particular thing you are facing in your project. I have done that. I just like my mentor was just like my friend as well. I have discussed everything with him. Just now as well I am able to connect anyhow with him, like I will call him and ask like this is what I'm thinking, I am thinking of doing this and this is so what are you thinking. Even he is not my mentor in the scalar right now,
Hmm.
um, I have like two mentors in the scalar in my whole journey. On both of them, I have touch with, and both of them I ask questions openly. Like this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm going to do. Then they help me out. So that's how. Like it's just build the community
Hmm.
uh, for me. Like they provided me the mentor, but that stayed with me for my life. Right? I can directly go. They are my senior, and I can ask whatever to them.
Correct.
And apart from that, other thing is like the community that we are getting. So many times the events are happening in
Yeah.
the scalar city events and many other things. So I used to go to them and we just hang around. I met a very I met a person like he's very genuine person and I am able to connect with him and I just ask him for a lot of things. Like I think he's in senior software engineer in Google, Ankit Pangasa, and I like whenever I face anything related to the interview, even I face problem for the interview or anything for the referral or anything, I just ask him and I call him
Ankit
directly.
Pasanga, yes, Ankit Pasanga is he was also part of Scalar, and he
Yes,
also helps us out, in counseling people. Just like
yes,
all these people who had said yes, they can also connect with other alumni, just like Ankit. So you have heard, our guest tonight also hears from the seniors who have been part of academy. So it's just like
yeah.
that
The
community
first
life.
time I met him was like there was an event in Delhi and he called me like I am leaving from the Noida. Will you join me from the Noida when I was in PayTm?
Yeah.
And we just shared the cab and we came to the like in the CP the charge. The event was there and I was able.
Correct, correct, correct. So, ladies and gents, again, as you've heard from Gulshan as well, if you join, you can. There are obviously other benefits of networking. Then there is obviously you connect with people, and they can become your unofficial mentors as well. Mock interviews. I'm sure Gulshan has given a lot of mock interviews
Mock
and had that
interviews,
support. Peer-to-peer learning, Ankit and live
pair
class.
programming we do.
Yes. So it's again, those are certain things we've heard from him as well. This is why it adds on to the benefit while you're just sitting for interviews, because you've gone through the entire journey rigorously, learning everything from scratch. It helps. But that was great, Gulshan, that you walked us through all the iterations. Ladies and gents, I'm giving everyone five, not five. I'll give everyone 2 minutes. Please go back to the questions tab and just start upvoting each other's questions. In the meantime, what we can do is we can also understand how would you rate this session. So ladies and gents, there's this poll going on. Please feel free to opt in with your preferred response for Gulshan so that we know how would you rate the overall learning that you had from him, and for the entire team as well, including me. Please feel free to interact with your correct response and click on submit once you have made the decision. So there'll be a series of 4 polls. This is the first one, and yeah, you can do a split screen, um, submit your response on the poll and go back to the questions tab, and we can do that. Gulshan, what we'll do is we'll take the top 10 most upvoted questions in the
Definitely.
sole discretion of time limitation. So ladies and gents, please go and ensure that you're upvoting so that we take the questions on priority. Perfect. Thank you for giving feedback to our poll. How would you rate the pace of this session, ladies and gents? 5 is a perfect, and you have other 4 options, 5 options as well. Please click on the one that suits your preference. I see 118 people here with me. Like maximum participation for that, please. Okay, Karthik's question is still at top, followed by Shivam, Priyanshu, Karnan, Vineet. We are coming to the questions. Neeraj Joshi, Prasanjit, Ajay. Hopefully, your questions are in the top 10 by the time the poll ends. So we'll see. Perfect. Come on, ladies and gents, your response to interact with the poll is ending soon. Let us know how would you rate the pace of this session. Did you find this session to be engaging? If that is yes, then click on 5. And there are other options as well. There's no certain implication that if you click on only 5, but yes, please click on something so that we know how was your uh, experience with us engaging with you. Again, time is certain thing that is not in our hand. Everyone is having restricted time. You as well, ladies and gents, who have joined in. Perfect. Perfect. This poll is also ending soon. I see only 40 responses, but we'll have to make do with that. And finally, how would you rate the content of this session here at Roadmap to SD Career at Paytm? Please click on your preferred option and click on submit. Perfect. So by the time this poll is running, Gulshan, we'll now move on to the question and answers. Karthik Kumar with 9 upvotes is asking, please tell us about tech stacks and frameworks used. Very quickly, if you can reiterate the tech stack that you have used.
So the tech stacks I have used is like majorly I worked in the front end role, so my tech stack is React.js. Apart from that, currently I am also working in the Next.js as well, learning Next.js and also implementing that as well. So these are the like one is these are the frameworks and the tech stack that I am currently using as a front end developer.
Makes sense. Shivam is asking, while my journey is a fresher, found a job which was for an intern, but asked for 3 years of experience. Position was software developer intern at Raise Pay. So my question is how to deal with such hideous situation and keep yourself calm and all. Shivam, I'll answer this. I'll answer for this one for you. See, the market is anyways very saturated. The only thing that you can expect is having great skills. Yes, there might be, not calling out any organization. You might feel at times that, hey, I'm being exploited with the demand that is from industry. Let's say for fresher or even intern, they're asking for 2 years of experience, which is very strange. Or what you can do to ensure that you're going around is you have the relevant tech stack, you have the relevant projects. I think Gulshan can agree to that as well. Having real-time
Uh,
projects and tech stacks will ensure that the recruiter takes your profile into cognizance and gives you a better role. Yes, Gulshan.
Uh, I would say just apply for the job, even like that is written like 3 years. I have a total of 5 years of experience, but I applied for the job that is asking for the 8 or 9 years of experience, and I got a call. And even like for one of the job call, I they asked me like this is for the 8 years. I just bluntly said like I will be able to perform
This
if
is
you take
skills.
my
The
interview.
skills are so much proficient that you're able to kill
Yeah,
it. So
yeah.
those are
Then
certain
my interview happened, and I was able to crack that interview. So
skills.
yeah, just apply for that.
Blind trust on skills and see how it goes. But yes, don't self-reject yourself as well. Vineet is asking Gulshan, 5 years of support role in service-based company, unable to understand my career. Please guide if I take front-end developer.
So 5 years of support role. So definitely 5 years of support role is a very big, but I would not say like that will not happen because I have seen people like initially for the first year I worked as a support engineer as well as I said earlier. So in that my team there were like few people who worked in the support role. So that was the mainframe support. So people have worked in that for like 10 years, and I have seen people moving from that support role to the cloud engineer role, to
Hmm.
the developer role.
Hmm.
Like there was a particular girl who just worked for like 4 years as a support engineer. Now she's a front end developer
Hmm.
working in the Walmart as well. So yeah, things can happen if you work around, if you put your effort in that. So definitely, I would say if you want to go for the front end, go for the front end. I would say it's not that much of a complex path. There's a lot to learn in the front end, but once you start it, you will be able to complete it.
Very motivating answer. Thanks for that, Gulshan. Neeraj is asking, sir, I'm in final year in BCA and placements have started. Companies are coming and I'm just starting with doing little bit SQL. and I know a little bit of C, Java, not high level. So any suggestion? It's my fifth semester.
Okay, so I think BCA is like 3 years, so fifth semester, so it's final year. So definitely you should you should be doing problem solving, because as a fresher they will ask you about the dev, but they will not go that much of depth. They will see your problem solving skill, because for the fresher they will expect like how quickly you are able to grasp the problem, how quickly you are able to answer the problem, write a well efficient solution. So go for the problem solving skills. It will not matter to them whether you are solving in C or Java. Sometimes they will ask for the JavaScript or anything, but it will not matter, because in my final year I was able to crack the interview and they asked me about most of the theoretical question and one to problem solving question, and rest they taught me in the company, like the Node.js, JavaScript, everything they taught me in the company. They will give you the time, they will put you effort in teaching you. So definitely go for the problem solving and learn more about like how C is working, and because they will ask you question around that only or your project.
Yes. Prasanjit is asking you, sir, a gap year effects on placement.
A gap year effect on placement in college gap year, I think they are asking.
Any gap year, let's
Uh,
say after college, just having a gap.
After college or in career gap is also there. So many times people take gap. Like even I've seen like one of my senior, he went on the paternity leave. He took like 2 years of break for his child, right? And then he joined back in a product based company itself. So gap year will not affect. And even in the college, because all that in the end they will ask you about your gap year and you have to justify why you took the gap. If you are able to justify, then it will not affect.
Makes sense. Priyanshu is asking other which languages we should learn for front end besides HTML, CSS, and JS.
I think you covered your question itself. HTML, CSS, and JS is all front end.
Yeah.
Every other thing is like React is using JS. So you have the depth knowledge of the JS. Then I think all other thing is like learning framework and the library. If you want Angular to learn or React or Next.js, all these are framework. Just be good at HTML, CSS, and JS. Everything will be fine.
Rahul Kanan, your question has been addressed in the past as well on the skills, so we'll just skip that one as of now. Um, how to join PayTm as a Flutter developer just after college, Gulshan?
Flutter, I think, is the cross development. Like I think it's a programming language for the cross development. I think around Android and the uh, iOS. I'm not sure like if the Paytm is using Flutter or they are doing the native app development like in the Swift or the Kotlin. So you have to search for that. I'm not sure for that, but I think there's a lot of demand for the Flutter. But for my personal opinion, I would suggest go for the native app development. Either go for the iOS in the Swift or the Kotlin in the Android. That will help you out a lot.
Next question is what are the major projects you have made?
In the college they are asking for the major project. I would say like not that kind of major. Some major project around the cloud computing. I was like in the college I was so chill. I didn't do that much of a like coding or you say project. Everything I had done after starting my career. In the college I have not done that much. That's why you can say I lacked, because even in the DSA that is just like theoretical. So if you are in college, if you are making a major project, just put your effort. That will help you out a lot, because it will help you in learning and do your DSA well or the problem solving well and build a project out of it. There's a lot of ideas pending, just like people are cloning Swiggy, people are cloning Amazon, everything. So you can go for that. That will be a major project. If you are in the college, you have cloned a Swiggy, that is like very big thing.
Hmm. Megha Madhur is asking, does having lot of certificates is important?
Having a lot of certificate, I don't see any value for the certificate. If you are saying like I have done the Android development course, that certificate I will not see any value if you are not able to use that Android development or anything, right? I would see a value for your cloud computing certificate, like Google Cloud Developer Certificate, because that is the like you are paying for that exam, then you're clearing that exam. Similarly for the Red Hat. So these are the certification that matter, because you are paying and you are giving a proper exam for that. So that will help you out, because when you are applying for the Red Hat developer, role, they will ask you whether you have the certification in the RHCL or other things. So yeah, these are the certificates that matters.
Makes sense. Again, we tried taking as many questions as possible. Ladies and gents, um, I'm sure a lot of questions might still be there. Just relaunching the poll one final time. If you would like your questions to be addressed by the counseling team, just like how I'm reading out and Gulshan is helping answer, you can connect with the team on your time and date, but it will happen only after, let's say, 48 to 60 hours, because we want all of you to go out and research a bit on the questions that you would like to ask the team, so that the session is fruitful for you as well, which is be free of cost. And you can connect with alumni and people who have been placed from Scalar as well, if you can, should want to request the team, that is also perfectly fine. um, how do you download the certificates, Ajay? You go to this specific link for today, uh, and therein you will see a download certificate option. The link is the one with Gulshan's photo, so you will know this is the correct link. I'm just adding the link over here. So this is the link from where you ideally must have registered. Keep this link safe. By tomorrow 10 a.m. is when you can expect the certificates to be enabled. Perfect. I see 67, 68 questions more, but again, we cannot take more questions solely due to the need of time. But what we can do is, Gulshan, if you don't mind, let's say if on priority people would want to connect with you as well, we'll share your LinkedIn profile, yes. So that will help people to reach out
Okay.
to you on DM. I am
Okay,
sharing
sure. I
Gulshan's
shared.
LinkedIn. Yes, thank you. So you have seen G Jangra, you can connect with him. This is Gulshan Jangra. You can connect with him on LinkedIn. Please be very, um, you know, um, considerate of what you're posting on DMs, and understand the fact that everyone is working. I'm sure you all must be working. So chances are, if there is a delay in replying from their end, please be patient and ensure that you're waiting for the replies to come your way. Perfect. Thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, Gulshan, for taking out time from your schedule and ensuring you're giving good advice to the crowd, motivating them as well to.
Thank you, Mihil. Thank you, everyone. I would like to add something today. I think today is the most decent crowd I have seen. Most decent in the sense is like most genuine questions I have seen today, and yeah, not like any random thing or anything, but most genuine questions or the questions that are meaningful. So yeah, thank you very much for that as well. Thank
Yes,
you, Mihil, for the platform.
means a lot. Thank you for joining us. These sessions are only successful if you guys take out time and interact with the crowd as well. It goes both ways. So yes, 8:13. We have overshot by 13 minutes, ladies and gents. Apologies for that. But yes, I hope all your questions and concerns were addressed. Um, if you want to know what happens to people who
Should
become
I
a
leave,
part
Mihil?
of Scalar, you can go through this link as well. Yes, Gulshan, please feel free. Thank you. Thank you for taking out time.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye. Have a nice day.
So you can opt in on this link and understand how you can also get better outcomes if you know be a part of Scalar. For people who might want to know about a placement track, this is where you can have a look. Certificate we've already discussed. You can download it yourself, Shimon, tomorrow 10 a.m. onwards from the link that you're registered from. Perfect. Again, if you still have certain questions around salaries, transitions, roles, and everything around, we have a free of cost session with our co-founder Anshuman Singh happening super soon. For people who might not know who Anshuman is, Anshuman led the tech team in Facebook's office at London. He was there ensuring that the Facebook Messenger application that you might be using is seamless. So if you're using that, chances are 100% that you're using the code that he has written along with his team, and he was working very closely with Mark Zuckerberg. So all the concerns and all the solutions that we'll get will come from a very trusted source. Him and his small team will be there alongside. It will be a very closed session. Ensure that you're registering so that you can book your seats ASAP. Perfect. I see people are DMing me about connecting with our alumni. You can also check this link, and this will be helpful for you as well. Perfect. I think we have taken majority of the questions. Also, since you've been such a great crowd, please take out 2 minutes of your time today, tomorrow, and just ensure that you're filling out this feedback form for us to know that, how did you like this session, what would you want from us, things like that, and that would be of great help to us. All right, guys, thank you again for joining in. Have a great week ahead. Please do interact with our events page, and you can attend free masterclasses from our top rated instructors, and you can upskill and get some ideas on the go. So we have Siddharth Taneja and Satya Sai coming up with the React project, full stack developer. A lot of you are on the lines of using React or wanting to get into a full stack role. If not front end, you can maybe register for those free of cost classes and have a look. Perfect. Thank you everyone for joining in. Have a great week ahead. Stay safe. Cheers. Good night.